Hello YouTube, this is VidHead85 here, and I just want to say that as hard as I am on my country, as much as I have an internal conflict saying the Pledge of Allegiance, as much as I have a conflict saying this, singing the Star-Spangled Banner and about America the Beautiful, as much as I have a conflict with this world, this country being no country for black men, I must say that I am proud of this country and how it has reacted. It has not broken down into a degeneracy of looting and pillaging, but it has walked our nation's streets, the highways that connect rural areas and urban areas to one another. It has broken down barriers. That is the only breakdown that we have seen. But yet we do not remember our opponents and what they say against us. We remember the silence of the friends that say they're with us. I could cry right now. Joy wells up within me because of the fact that now we can take this verdict and use this to break down walls. We can use this for justice. Black, all people, black, white, of all faiths, backgrounds, many people came together for justice and are still coming together for justice. George Zimmerman getting away with this crime despairs me. But the reaction to the verdict has remained peaceful. And even though it is heartbreaking for the family, and I will admit both families are heartbroken by this whole tragedy, but at least one of the families still has their relative. I am proud of you. From the people that got arrested for fair elections in New York, Rosemary Rivera, Karen Scharf. For the people who get arrested weekly on Moral Mondays in North Carolina. To people who protest for justice in Utah, Louisiana, New York, Illinois. To those who protest and who fight for justice in Mississippi, in Alabama, in North Dakota, in New Hampshire, in Maine. That is America. John Creasel, when opposing the constitutional amendment to ban marriage between gay and lesbian couples, said that discrimination in law was not what he fought for, but those outside opposing writing discrimination into their state constitution. That was the America that he fought for. Steve Simon also said, how many gays do God have to make before we realize that he wants them here? How many black people does God have to make before we realize that he wants them here? How many Asian people does God have to make before we realize he wants them here? How many liberals does God have to make before we realize he wants them here? How many black women does God have to make before we realize he wants them here? How many poor people does God have to make before we realize he wants them here in America, in the place that they are proud to call home? How many dreamers does God have to make before we realize that he wants them here? How many people who do not speak English does God have to make before we realize that he wants them here in this country, in this place that we call home, that calls itself the beacon of the free world, that prizes itself on equality and justice, on fairness? This is the best